I know in my day there was something called an Army Commando, and I really didn't, I didn't get the picture of what really an Army Commando was, but I understood that there was a commander in the Navy, there was a commander in the Coast Guard. That was an authoritative position. Admiral in the Navy and admiral in the Coast Guard. That was the highest position you could get in the Coast Guard and in the Navy. As far as the Army goes, general is the highest position, and general is the highest position in the Marines or in the Marine Corps or in the Air Force for that matter. And there are people that, like in the Navy, there's someone that might become a Navy SEAL, and they're a Navy SEAL who's an admiral, and that means that you're top notch in the Navy. And you do what you want to in war because you're implementing strategies and tactical decisions that are bringing about special operations all over the place, and you're getting things done in the Navy when you're doing this for the country. As far as the Army goes, if you're a general assigned to war in Vietnam and you're the sergeant at arms in Vietnam, the sergeant at arms is not a sergeant. The sergeant at arms is usually a general or a colonel who is in charge of the whole war. And they're called a sergeant at arms. They're not called a colonel at arms. They're not called a general at arms. They're called a sergeant at arms. They are usually someone who is a general in the Army possibly, and they're in charge of the whole war in Vietnam. And that's something that I would like for people to understand about special operations, about being a Green Beret, or about being a Ranger, or conducting special operations for the Special Forces in the Army, in the United States Army. These are very confidential, classified positions that the understanding of what they go through and what they implement into their strategic plans and the unity that's provided amongst all the soldiers that are brought together in the war on terror that was going on in the Middle East. That was a unified structure that was providing the kind of force necessary provided by people like the Special Forces and the Navy SEALs, and that is what got things done and what got things taken care of in the war on terror. That's what implemented tragedy into the lives of people like Osama bin Laden and people who were supplying some kind of angry notion towards the American government, towards our civilization, towards society in the United States of America. And, if we can't join together and become a community amongst everybody who has survived and is able to survive, then what do we have here but some kind of bedlam or some kind of insane asylum situation? We might as well all be crazy. Are we going mad? What's going on here? Why aren't we unified? Why haven't we become united as the United States of America implies? Why haven't we become united? Why aren't we fighting together to achieve the goals that are necessary to relieve the powers that are dimming the lights out for all good for goodness sake, for all of mankind. Because this isn't just a national struggle, it's a global problem. It's internationally affecting humanity all across the globe. This whole war-like situation, it's World War III all over again. So let's get things done. Let's implement structure into the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA. Let's implement structure into the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marine Corps, the U.S. Navy, and the U.S. Air Force, also the U.S. Coast Guard. Let's get things moving to establish infiltration. Let's infiltrate espionage, treason, and everything that's leading to this whole tragedy within the confines of our whole global system. Let's get things done.